자, 체면후 암시라고 들어봤어요? 체면 상태에서 암시를 걸어놓고 각성 상태에서 그대로 행동하게 하는 거. 아직도 눈치 못 채겠어요?
Hi, welcome to the Bench Movie Club. My name's Charlie.
My name's Ben.
And in this episode, the first one of 2024, we're going to be reviewing the 2003 Korean classic Oldboy, directed by Park Chan-wook, who went on to make The Handmaiden. It stars Choi Min-sik, who's in Lucy and Our Twisted Hero. He played Dae-su, the main guy in it,
right.
The old boy in question. Yoo Ji-tae, who's in Dogam and Mayaratima. He played Woo Jin Lee, the villain, the main villain.
Right, yeah.
And Kang Hye-jung, who was in Dong Mak Gol, and Nabi played Mido. I've had really bad toothache and I had it taken out today. I was watching the film again last night.
Right.
And it's interesting to watch a film when you want your tooth pulled out and there's that scene where someone's pulling someone's teeth out. Spoiler alert, there's going to be loads of spoilers for this. Oldboy is about a man who's kidnapped and imprisoned for 15 years and his wife is brutally murdered. On his release, he's given a wallet full of money and a mobile phone. A stranger calls and asks him to try and figure out why he was imprisoned. A girl appears and promises to help him solve the enigma and seek vengeance for his cruel fate. As the search progresses, the man finally comes face to face with his kidnapper, who proposes a game. If the man discovers the reason for his imprisonment, his kidnapper will kill himself. If not, then the girl will be killed. He has only 5 days to unravel the mystery. So, Ben, what do you think?
Don't know.
You don't know? Why?
Well, there was one particular scene I just thought was completely unnecessary and I thought it was absolutely disgusting.
And what was that?
Well, what do you think?
I don't know.
Absolutely
There's
vile
loads.
bit. The octopus.
The octopus. Oh,
And
okay.
that was real, and there was no need for that. There was no need for that at all.
It was actually 4 live octopodes gave their life for
And
that.
I'll tell you why I don't like that. Number one, it was basically it's done for art. It's like this kind of thing. That's not necessary. And also, since I see that program with that octopus woman, not the octopus woman, that octopus, the man he went under. He went into the sea every single day and he befriended an octopus and they became friends and she was all like over him and all that. They're very intelligent and they've got feelings and stuff like that. And I felt ever since that, I just looked at this and I thought that was just... And I didn't like the fact because you could see all the tentacles all wrapping around his face. There was no need for that scene in there.
Well, the thing is, I know you're saying, okay, it's done for the art, but it is actually commonplace in Korea. I'm not justifying it.
But I don't like
we don't agree with it. It's not what we would do. But you'll be surprised the amount of things which we do in Western culture when you look at it and you think about lobsters, when people eat lobsters in restaurants and they chuck them in the boiling water.
No, I know. But I just did not. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
What usually happens, and she actually mentions it when she gives him the live octopus. She said, "Do you want me to slice it up?" What usually happens in the restaurants, you get a live octopus and the waiter will slice the octopus up there in front of you.
Even worse. It's horrible. I don't know. Well, I ain't going there then.
No,
I'm definitely not going there. No, but okay, this that bit there, that was playing on my mind. That bit, I just really didn't like that.
if it makes you feel any better, when the film won the Grand Prix at Cannes, the director thanked amongst the cast and crew, also thanked the octopuses that gave their life.
Oh, I'm sure they was really grateful for that.
And the guy who's eating the octopus, the actor Choi, is actually a Buddhist in real life. And he said a prayer after each take because he didn't like doing it.
Well, once again, I'm sure the octopus was really grateful for that.
Yeah, right.
But apart from that, okay, let's get to the story. It was an interesting film. It was okay. Don't get me wrong, it was okay. I didn't hate it. I just there was a couple of bits that I just think are unnecessary, like the bit with the tongue as well. It's like
he cuts his own tongue off.
It's like
Yeah, I forgot.
And the teeth pulling thing, and it's like see, I don't like films like Hostel and Saw, but for that reason, it's because for torture things, it's like I just don't need to see that. I really don't need to see that because I can imagine that, and I don't like that. And it's that
I looked
kind of
away.
thing.
I admit I did look away at them bits. You know what? In all honesty, it's been a little while since I see it. Those aren't the parts that stick out in my mind because I think of the story. And I like the story in it. I like what a sort of intricate way to get revenge on someone, stick them in a room for 15 years.
Yeah, I think, you know, what I think it might be, I think I might be a bit confused. Right, obviously, there's that horrible bit in it, which I had sussed that out halfway through. The fact that it's his daughter, I knew
right.
that.
Yeah.
I knew that was going to happen. And I was thinking that bit when they're having sex, and I'm thinking that's his daughter. And I can guarantee that's going to be his daughter, because it was just too...
Convenient.
Obvious. I think where you've seen things and twists and turns in things so many times now, I sussed that out early on, and I thought that is just disgusting. That is just like. But then what I don't understand at the end, obviously, is the reason why he locked him up. Is it because he was telling people about the man with his sister?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a proper incest film, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's the man with his sister, and they was having a consensual relationship between each other. They was both in it, the relationship.
Yeah.
So the brother and the sister was both consensual to it. It wasn't like he was raping the sister, was it? Or
No,
were they
was
both
consensual.
right? Okay, so and this young, what's his name? Jewett. What's his name? I don't know.
Dae-su.
Dae-su.
You can call him Oldboy.
Oldboy.
Yeah.
Was it that he told people about that? So that was what it was. Was it just him, or was that other people?
No, it was he started it. He was the one, because he obviously witnessed them two together. He had no idea they were brother and sister. He didn't really know them. But he said to people, "Oh, guess what I've just seen?"
So it was him that started
And it's because where he started it, the rumour, out of shame, the girl killed herself. She
Right.
jumps off the bridge and kills herself.
But is there other people that he's trapped in them rooms as well?
Well, it's not that he specifically done it. That building is a service.
Right.
So
it's all different people with different
yeah, it
vendettas.
could be people go like, I want someone trapped in there for 2 weeks.
Right,
I want someone
okay.
trapped in there for 3 weeks.
Right, so
But
I understand that bit now.
Yeah,
Go on.
15 years is obviously quite an extreme one. But he done
Yeah.
it for the reason that it gives the daughter time to grow
up.
old, turn into an adult. There's one point in it which is supposed to throw you off the scent where she says she was adopted, she lives in Sweden now, your daughter.
Yeah, I see that bit,
Which
but I
was-
still didn't. That didn't ring. I thought no, that's
didn't believe
just
it?
no. I didn't believe that. I knew there was something dodgy. First of all, I didn't actually quite clock the fact that it was his daughter until they had sex, and I thought that is going to be his daughter. I bet you any money that turns to be his daughter. Because that kind of thing usually happens when like with the twist. That is the big twist kind of thing. I didn't like that fight scene. Was a bit.
What, in a corridor?
It's a bit unrealistic.
Yeah, go on.
You obviously don't like that, do you?
No, I like it.
No, you don't like the fact that I said that because it's
No,
like
what I like about that scene is that it doesn't sort of do the typical martial art thing, doing all sort of like roundhouse kicks and stuff like that. He's literally
it
just
looks like a
slugging it out.
dance. It looks like a dance. It looks like a
Right.
choreographed dance, like from a Michael Jackson video or something like that. It's like it just looks a bit unrealistic. There's one man, and there's how many of them? About 20.
Yeah.
So they wait for the one person. So they'll just rush him. That's it.
They're
He's
in the
done.
corridor.
Yeah, but they could rush him still, and then he gets in the lift with them, and then they all fall out of the lift. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
quite a famous scene. It's a famous one
Yeah,
shot.
I know. Listen, I know people are going to be listening to this because they're obviously downloaded it because they love the film. But this is just. I didn't choose this film. You obviously chose this film. I'm not saying it's a bad film. It's a good film. It's a good film. It's just there's just a lot to take in the space of one film.
But that corridor shot actually took 3 days to film. And there's no CGI in it or anything like that. Which, this was remade, but we'll talk about the remake in a little while.
I mean, it wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sort of slagging it. I've seen it's not like that fight in what was it? They Live.
Oh, that one.
That fucking 10-hour fight scene or something.
God, see, and I love that scene. It's so
Really?
But I like over the top.
I was sitting there going, when I was watching that They Live, and I was going, this is definitely a filler, because like it was going on for about 10 minutes. I'm like, really?
Again, some people love that. I love that fight scene.
Yeah, we've
I
got
like. I
different
go, oh,
tastes
this is
and
wicked.
stuff.
This fight scene. It's so but because it's over the top, because of how long it goes on.
It would only
for.
bore you.
No.
Also, that sewing of his hand at the beginning, that looked like he was really sewing it, and it wouldn't surprise me if he did really sew his hands.
Probably.
I mean, I didn't get bored. I watched it. I was intrigued to sort of see how it was. So it's not a bad film in respects of, obviously, I wanted to see it through to the end. If it was crap, I would have wanted to turn it off halfway through. I didn't want to turn it off. It just made me feel a bit uncomfortable, certain bits in it. Because it's just not my genre. Do you know what I mean? As I say, like with horror, I love horror. I hate torture horror. I hate anything to do with where it could be real.
Right, so obviously it's not for you. You won't be watching it again. Me personally, I really like this film. I really enjoy this film. I think it's very well made. I think some of the shots look amazing. I like the set pieces. I love the premise. So whenever I try to get people to watch this film, I'll just tell them the premise about the 15 years stuck in and not knowing why and only having 5 days to find out, which I think is an excellent way to start a film, because you always talk about how good an end of a film is, but it's good to have a good start as well. I like how they display, how they show how much time he's been in the room is showing like important events. So it will show like Hong Kong being handed over, Princess Di dying September 11th.
Yeah.
So you get an idea. This is all the stuff that he's missed. As brutal as it looks, there's actually only 7 people die on screen in the film. Some people die off screen. Some people, loads of people go through a lot of torture. Because you think about it, the guy who had his teeth pulled out, and
Yeah, what happened to him in the end? Because he came back for him with all his gold teeth, and he was gonna do something, but then the bloke said, he gave him the big thing of money, and so he fucked off, and he punched him as he left. But then, what was his story? Who was he in this story?
he was just the guy who was running the building.
Right, that's it.
The building
That's
where
it, I
everyone's
remember.
being trapped. But you think out of, say, the 5 main characters, so you had Oldboy, you had who turned out to be his daughter, you had the guy who wanted the revenge with the, you had his right hand man, that silent one, who ends up
With
getting
the blonde hair.
Yeah, and ends up getting stabbed in the ear with
That's
scissors.
That's it.
And then you had the guy with his teeth knocked out. The funny thing is, out of the 5 of them, he's probably got the best result. He's the one who had his teeth pulled out. He's probably got off lightly compared to the others.
Yeah, because he dies.
Yeah.
He's
2 of them die.
cuts his tongue out.
2 of them die. One cuts his tongue out.
And has slept with his daughter.
Yeah, and she's gone through the mill as well. And she doesn't know that she slept with her dad, but still, that's the fact that we know it is bad enough. And I knew about the octopus scene before I'd even seen it, because I remember reading about the film and thinking, okay. So I was prepared for him eating the live octopus. I wasn't prepared for the teeth pulling or the tongue cutting. I know when the guy was going to get his own back with the teeth pulling, my toes were curling. I was looking
Because you've got toothache.
I got toothache. Well, this is the thing. When he says, I'm going to pull out, what does he say? I'm going to pull out a tooth for every year that I was stuck in there.
Yeah.
I was thinking, if he was here now, I'd say, get that back tooth through. It's bloody hurting me. Yeah, it is very uncomfortable viewing, but it's almost necessary to show how badly this world is that they're in. You know, it's such a depraved world. I think it's a bit over the top revenge, because the guy's caused his sister's death, but he didn't do it on purpose. He was a school kid, gossiping as school kids do. And whether it's a lesson that people say, you shouldn't gossip in case someone sticks you in a room for 15 years, I don't know.
Very extreme though, isn't it?
It was remade in 2013 as an American film starring Josh Brolin and Samuel L. Jackson. That had a budget of 30 million, and in the box office only made 5.2 million. It was directed by Spike Lee.
Really? That's a big loss.
And you know the rating on this one, because you would have looked up IMDb, but the US one only got 5.8 stars out of 10.
Have you seen that one?
Oh, yeah. We had one of the weakest Thanksgiving openings ever. It's this film, but it's very watered down.
Right.
The irony is
So that's probably my version.
Yeah.
It's the one that I would go, that's a nice film.
Yeah, well, it's not so much a nice film, but the way they do it, they try to make it more slick. It's obviously got bigger budget, and it's like, for example, the corridor fight scene? In the American one, it's like in a car park and he's jumping down different levels and stuff, and it goes a bit too sort of fanciful, and I didn't like how the reveal is at the end, because in this, it's very simple. It's the photo album. Yeah. You open up the photo album.
That's a good reveal.
Yeah, and because I know you said that you guessed what was going to happen.
Yeah.
When I watch films, I deliberately try not to second guess it. I just think, okay, let me just see.
Yeah, but you can't help yourself. If you think, I bet you, and it's like you don't do it on purpose, but your brain is saying, I bet you that's his daughter. You didn't have no inkling that it was his daughter, no?
No, because I legitimately, I train myself to, when I watch films, even if it's staring you in the face, even if you think, in the back of your mind, you think, I know it's going to turn out that he's the villain, I know it's going to turn out this, I try to ignore it. Right. I try to think, no, that's not how the filmmaker wants me to see it. I'll see one second. So when I didn't guess that she was his daughter,
right.
You know, I also, when she said the bit about the daughter being in Sweden, that was good enough evidence for me.
Right, okay.
I thought, okay, well, it's not going to try and be fanciful and try and...
so it's probably a bigger impact for you then, because you had a...
Yeah, because when I was watching that
and then you're thinking, especially being a father, you'd think, no, it's just a horrible thing
Well, when I first watched this, I wasn't a father.
Oh, you wasn't?
No, I watched it about the year after it came out, so 2004.
Okay.
But even still, it was like, oh my god, what a horrible revelation for him. The US remake, I don't even know if they deal with that, but I know that the reveal is all like 3D pictures hanging in the, like it's trying to be all fancy. It's over the top. You know,
they've missed the point of it.
Yeah, his name Dae-su originated from the name Oedipus.
Okay.
From Greek tragedy. So you know about Oedipus?
Yeah.
He's the one who slept with his mum.
Yeah.
So it's like almost like a hint.
It makes sense then, doesn't it?
Yeah. But obviously there's no way someone would have guessed
That's
it
the only
from
thing
that.
going in it, someone sleeping with their mum.
The police scene at the beginning was actually the last thing they shot. No, when he's drunk in the police station.
Oh, okay.
Because if you notice, his hair's a lot shorter as well. But they shot that last and he just improvised it. Or he just sort of was a pest being drunk.
Yeah.
Fans of the film would find that interesting. You're like, I don't care. I don't want to know any more about this film.
No, listen, don't get me wrong. Look, it wasn't a bad film, Charles. It wasn't a bad film.
Yeah.
But it's not my style film. But I was open. I kept an open mind with it. I just didn't like that scene. I didn't like that scene. How did that scene go down with everyone else? Did everyone else love that scene? Is that like that octopus scene? Does everyone think that's a fantastic scene?
They go, oh yeah, bruv, I'm going to get me some octopus. I'm going to go eat it. No, it's just uncomfortable viewing. It's deliberately uncomfortable viewing. Right. But as I said, for the film itself, made in Korea, it's not actually.
It's not unusual in Korea. I suppose. Yeah.
No, the equivalent over here, I guess, would be someone going up to a fish stall and going, I want some eels, and someone says, I'm going to cut this eel up for you, and he picks it up and starts eating it without cutting it. Right. It's not that big a difference in Korea because it's just one.
I think it's that program that's done it to me, though. Do you know what I'm talking about? The one where the man goes under the water with the octopus. It's every day. It's a thing. It was a real. I can't think what it's called. My friend Octopus or something. I don't know. But it's a man. He goes every single day. He goes under. First of all, the octopus stays away, and she won't come near. And then after a couple of weeks or a couple of months, she slowly starts coming in. She touches it. It's a real beautiful thing. And in the end, she comes up to him and they like sort of was hugging him and all this. And at the end, she dies because she gives birth.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it.
But then I think that was the thing that made it sad for me. But look, I ain't slagging this film, and that seems like I am. I was just. No, I've got the shock bits out of the way. Yeah. It's a good story. I think maybe if I hadn't clocked it with the daughter, then maybe I might have been, wow, bloody hell, oh my God, that's his daughter. Then that might have been more of an impact. The fact that my brain just went, that's his daughter. I thought, I bet you it's his daughter, because then I started looking, going, and then when they had sex, and then I thought, oh God, that's his daughter. I bet you any money. So in my brain, without saying anything out loud, my brain had already worked that out. I can't stop my brain from sort of like going that way like you can. So maybe if I hadn't seen that reveal, it might have had more of an impact on me. It is a good story, and it's a shame that the American version sort of missed the point of the story.
It's a shame there was an American version. You don't need to do an American version of things. I have no issue watching foreign films. No. Like you said, with the subtitles, you get used to it very quickly.
Well, I liked that film years ago. I watched that film Betty Blue, and I used to like that, and that was in subtitles.
Yeah, no, so imagine like there was an American remake, Betty Blue, with Jennifer Aniston in it. You'd go, what's the point? Yeah. I'm happy to watch the original. But loads of people aren't happy to watch the original. Loads of people want, so they haven't got to read. They can sit there and they think, oh, I know Samuel L. Jackson, isn't it? Like Samuel Jackson's the guy who runs the building in the new one.
Right, yeah.
But
it's like when they redone, you know, the that fantastic series of ours over here, Life on Mars. Right, completely missed the concept of it, because in their one it ends up they're on a spaceship.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's not life on Mars, nothing to do with Mars. It's basically, you've just completely missed the point.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with that. If you look at the original Life on Mars, the British one, then watch the American one. It's a shame, because the American one, after I got in over certain aspects of it, I was getting into it, and I thought, okay, this is quite good. And because our Life on Mars has got such a fantastic ending, it's like one of the best endings of a drama. Then I was thinking, oh, what's their ending? And I had watched the whole series, and I thought, oh, well, I wonder what it's going to be like. Then it's like, they was all on a spaceship. They was all on a spaceship. Yeah. And I was like, are you taking the piss, really? This is nothing like the original. And it started good, because he goes back in time. Obviously, the first thing, the iconic thing he's seen is the Twin Towers there. And there's things like that, and there was so many good bits of it. The actor was quite good, and it had Harvey Keitel playing the Gene Hunt character. It was good, and I started going, and I was excited, and then there's nothing worse than you get to the end of a series, and I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you really thinking, oh, like, this is all on a spaceship? Why couldn't you just follow the British version?
Yeah.
So if no one's seen the British version, it's a fantastic, Life on Mars.
The thing is, with the British version, I'm not going to spoil the end of it because I recommend people go watch it. It's not as sort of straightforward as what some people think, because you watch it and you might think, oh, so that means this has happened.
Oh, you can interpret it in two ways,
yeah,
I think.
but some people go, I still don't get it. Some people are still confused with Life on Mars.
Like me with this film, I suppose.
And then you got Ashes to Ashes afterwards as well, haven't you?
But they're both brilliant series. I love both of them. They're both highly recommended.
But the American audience, obviously, they look to what they're catering for. They assume we don't relate to what's going on in Only Fools and Horses. You know, the Americans.
Yeah, I suppose.
We don't relate to what's going on with the IT crowd. We don't relate to these. We don't relate to that British sense of humour.
Yeah.
So they transfer it to America, and they just change it all, because it's like I was watching a interview with Stephen Fry, and he was talking about the difference between American humour and British humour. And British humour is very much put down upon the loser, like Basil Fawlty. You know, Del Boy, always losing, always coming up short.
Yeah.
You know, people just failing all the time. Whereas the American programmes, it's always someone being really witty and clever. Whereas British people like to laugh at
They
themselves.
like a lot of our like, look, they like The Office. They remade The Office, but they liked The Office originally.
Yeah, but they still...
They liked Absolutely Fabulous. There's a lot of things that like 40 Towers.
Yeah.
Benny Hill is one that's up there, and Monty Python, I don't know. They obviously like them, a lot of them, because they're really big over there. But comedy-wise, the kinds of things we like, 40 Towers, Office, Absolutely Fabulous, that kind of thing, they are popular.
I think that it does transfer into America. I think the American audience, if the studios gave them more credit, they could just transfer it as it is, show it at the time, and people would have liked it.
Yeah.
People would have loved this little slice of British culture, like how they loved Downton Abbey and things like that.
Yeah.
But you see, that's more of a modern phenomenon, where they're trying to, every so often, they do try to bring a British sitcom or something over as is, and they'll think, okay, well look, they seem to be liking this, especially now with social media. So Americans are now more exposed to British culture,
right?
You know. But you see the In-Betweeners. Have you seen the American In-Betweeners?
No.
It's terrible. It's like they're trying to make. It's like a mix between the In-Betweeners and.
I've seen the American Vicar of Dibley or something like that. It's like,
really?
Yeah. I'm not saying, as I say, it's there's certain things that translate really well over here. Like we had Friends. Friends love. I mean, Americans have Friends. Frasier. There's lots of American stuff that we love, and series that's going on over there now, and obviously lots of American films. So there is.
But we're more open to it. We don't remake things. We don't remake American.
We appreciate it. For example, we would not look at Friends and go, we're going to make a new version of that.
But we, not just us, but other countries will accept American products or products from any country as is. They'll go, okay, like Australia, you got like EastEnders is big in Australia.
Is it?
Yeah. They used to watch it over there, yeah. Like some of the soaps, British soaps do well over there.
Okay.
And British programmes do well, all the other countries, but it's just America, because the American studios think they know better and they've got the money, they can remake it. Because why don't we just remake it with American accents so it's more relatable to the audience? Because they won't we don't understand half the things they're saying in Only Fools and Horses. Why are we going to... So they made them...
Our accents that like...
I can understand why they find it a bit of a struggle.
Really? Because we can understand them.
Yeah, but it's because we've been so exposed to them as well. Because you've got to think, American cinema, since like World War II, American cinema's dominated the Western world.
Okay.
You know, so the amount of American films that we've watched, American TV shows, this is also why I reckon British actors can do American accents.
Yeah.
You know, whereas Americans struggle because they haven't had as much exposure to British culture. So they try to do a British accent and it just comes across
like
as
the ones in Frasier are ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh my God, really? Although there's some brilliant ones like Bridget Jones, she's good. I actually thought as well, in Sliding Doors, Gwyneth Paltrow done quite good.
Gwyneth Paltrow does a good British accent.
In that, I don't know about any other films. I've never seen that. But in Sliding Doors, that was a very good one. That was a good. That was a good accent she done. Because I suppose there's all different types of English accents, isn't there? Same with American. You know, like you've got so many different, so you don't know. It's not like one standard.
Yeah, but this is the thing. British accents, it changes drastically 10 miles up the road.
Yeah.
You go somewhere, the amount of regional accents in this country is ridiculous, how many different ones. In America, there are different regional accents. So you got the Deep South, and you got the New York East, and you got the beach bum Californian. You got these different accents, but they're not as extreme, and they're not as often.
Well, I suppose our accents, we're from London. But then other parts of London all talk like that. Hello. Oh, you know, well, not like that.
Yeah, go on.
You're not like that.
What
No, how do they say? What, you know,
You get me, fam.
No.
That's London accent now.
Yeah.
People talk like that. Is it for real?
But there's like
Blap, blap.
a nice one, old chap. You know, that kind of sort of accent. It's...
Who talks like that?
I don't know. Maybe I think about old war films. No, but you know, like sort of like the Hugh Grant sort of sounding, like the posh sort of sounding sort of accents. But we're not that far away from each other. You know, we're all London, but we're different parts of London. Like we're East London, and they're like West London. So anyway, the budget for this film was $3 million, and it made $17.1 million.
See, that's like the reverse of the American one, because the American one budget of 30 million made 5.2.
Yeah, it's made a lot of money. It's done good. Also, Rotten Tomatoes, it was 82% by the critics, 94% by the audience. So that's really good.
So you're that 6%.
I obviously don't know what I'm talking about.
No, but this is it. You don't need to be apologetic for it, because there's loads of very popular films out there. You know, they're in the top 20 films on IMDb, and I think, am I watching a different film?
Yeah.
I don't get the fascination with that particular film.
Let's say, listen, we're all different in a way. IMDb, it got 8.4% out of 10. So it's like, it's got a real good rating.
Again, the opposite to the American one's 5.8.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we'll swap the numbers around.
I just don't like anything with torture stuff in it, really. I think it's the same as if I was to watch a Saw film or watch Hostel. I've never seen Hostel. I think I've seen a Saw film. And I just don't like that type of film.
No.
It's just because it's too realistic.
I think these kind of films as well, it's more tolerable, funny enough, when you're younger.
Yeah.
When you watch things when you're younger, you don't sort of relate to how it would actually feel so much. You don't think... It's like you can watch things when you're younger thinking, oh yeah, see the bit when his leg got pulled off, oh, it's really funny.
Yeah.
When you're older, and you start realising things like actually do happen, things like this could happen, it makes it a little bit more uncomfortable to watch.
It was like that film specifically I could think of is a film that I don't think I'd ever watch again, called Eden Lake. It made me... when I finished watching that film, I just felt really depressed. It was so realistic, and I thought, this is the kind of thing that happens. And it just didn't sit right with me. It was like a horror film, but a real life horror film. I had to put Friends on. I remember putting Friends on or something like that. So I thought I need a laughter track.
Just even
that, I was sitting there going, no, I just can't get over that, what I've just watched. It was just really... It depressed me. So I would never watch that again. Although then I did recommend it to someone in work the next day. He's saying about a good film for him and his wife to watch. I went, oh, I see a brilliant film last night, Eden Lake. Next day he came and went, what the fucking hell was that film you saw? He goes, what a depressing film. I go, it's me and my wife, which just sat there at the end of it going, oh, what the fuck, I feel so depressed now after watching that. I just laughed my head off. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, you are a bit of a wind-up.
I am. Yeah. So well, listen. It was look. It was an okay film. It's not my style. Not my.
No, it was a great film, but you didn't like it.
Okay.
That's fair enough.
I'll go with that. No, I will go with that by going with what these are saying here. Like all the ratings for it, the critics, they're all going really high for it. So maybe I've just taken it too far with that.
No, this is the thing. I totally understand. I see where you're coming from. I respect your opinion on it, because I think in another day I could have watched the film and gone and felt exactly the same as you. It's just when I first watched it back in 2004, how old was I in 2004? 22. I was just more open to those kind of things at the time. I suppose if I'd watched it for the first time now...
Who got you into this film then?
I watched
Oh, you just
films.
watched random stuff. Has Lily seen this film?
Yeah, I used to get loads of film magazines, and I'd look what's on the horizon. Right. This is before this is like early days of internet, of course, so you couldn't really see much. Lily's watched it.
What's she think?
She loves it.
Really?
She really likes it. But then again,
she's weird like you. Then,
no, but you've also got to think again. She's young. I think it's one of those films that, like, I would never recommend this to Mum.
No, Mum would not like this.
She wouldn't let me in the house again. She'd say, "What's wrong with you?" Despite the fact that she sits there watching Broadchurch and whatever else on Coronation Street with some bloke killing people, and it was.
She'd go, "What kind of snuff movie are you watching?"
See, I don't think the last time I watched it, I don't think I sort of hid behind my fingers for those certain scenes. But it was this time around watching it last night. First of all, when
I'd done the same.
When he ate and then the teeth bit. And it's the front teeth. It's not like the back teeth. I thought, no, not the front teeth. And I looked away and I thought, oh God, that was really uncomfortable. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Because I think the first time I watched it, I was more sort of just thinking, yeah, that won't happen.
I think I did look away a few times with it. I just like
And the tongue.
What?
And
the tongue bit.
And they didn't actually show the tongue getting cut.
No, but you heard it. It was like, oh
yeah.
God, it's making me touch my mouth now.
Cutting, which the guy didn't say cut your tongue off. He just done it because he was so desperate for the guy not to tell.
So I think American Wealth in London used to do that to me years ago with the bit, anything to do with cutting throats and cutting wrists.
Cutting his wrists.
It's like that always used to make me cringe, and I don't know what it is. Maybe in a past life I had my head cut off or something.
See, funny thing you saying that at the very beginning of this, you know when he's trapped in the room and he has a breakdown, so he tries to kill himself. You don't see him cut his wrists, but you see him on the floor with his wrists cut and they're dragging him out of the room. So you don't actually see him do the cutting of the wrist. And I remember thinking, I know Ben don't like cutting wrists. He said this in American Wealth. I hope this doesn't put him off the rest of the film.
That was something from when I was a child. I see American Wealth in London when I was probably about 8, 9. So I remember seeing it then, and something about necks and wrists ever since that. And I know it was that film.
Oh, yeah, because it cuts his neck as in a dream sequence.
And it's just that kind of... Oh, and then and the wrists, I don't know, I think he tries to cut his wrist, doesn't he? It just makes you... I think it's just because it's such a tender area. And it's like...
And you think, say if he suddenly sneezed while he was shooting that scene and he actually cut it.
Well, in that scene of American Wealth in London, that was actually a real knife being held to his throat by someone in a mask. So you'd be sitting there thinking, fucking hell, that was before health and safety. I remember when I heard that, I was like, you taking the piss? If someone said to me, right, action, I'd be going, no, sorry mate, you're going to have to get someone else to do this. No way am I going to have a knife held to my throat with someone in a mask. They can't see what the fuck they're doing. Who's to say it's not going to go like that little bit too far? So that's making me feel ill now, actually, just doing it.
Yeah, see, there's loads of scenes in this, I think. I know the budget wasn't huge. They must have actually done some of those things. Some of the action scenes, some of the bits, it must have been quite uncomfortable, or again, like eating the octopus.
Yeah.
There's no getting away around that.
It kept me engrossed the whole way through it. Just threw me a few places. That's why I had to ask you about what was this, what happened to this one, what does this mean? Because I was a bit confused by it all because of the fact that it was subtitles. I was thinking, have I missed something? Yeah, I can appreciate it's a good film. You either like some stuff I show you, some things you go, yeah, it's good, it's not my thing, but I can see where you're coming from with this film. I know you haven't just picked it just to sort of freak me out with all the horrible bits in it. It's interesting chucking stuff like this at each other, because I would never have watched this, and I suppose you might. There's films that I will sit and go, I wonder what his opinion is of that, because I know there's certain films that I think I can't wait for him to watch that, and like I'm sure with the other way around, just either to know that he's going to fucking hate it or he might like it, just to sort of get someone else's opinion, because we have got such a different taste in films.
This is what's I like this though. I like when we have a different opinion on it, because it's
I wouldn't agree with something just for the sake of going, it's a brilliant film.
But this is good because
I can appreciate it.
This is what I want to do on the podcast anyway. So we will find films. I won't deliberately pick films you won't like.
No, I won't do the same thing either.
I think it's good because there's loads of people who will agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
They might not necessarily be listening to the podcast, but they might do. They might
because they're not going to. They're going to go. I ain't listening to a podcast about that.
Yeah. Or they may have heard from our last podcast.
Yeah.
And thought, I really enjoyed Party. What they recommended
this
next
is
week.
nothing like Party.
This is the Korean remake of Party.
We end the year on a massive high with Daniel Peacock. Yeah. I love the interview with him, and then you've gone right next year for the beginning of the year, the most miserable month of the year.
A guy trying to kill himself.
But no, I appreciate where you're coming from with this film. I appreciate it's a good film, and with the right audience, I can see it's a good film.
Out of 10, you ain't got to be nice. Out of 10, what would you say?
7, and that's
generous.
That's quite generous.
That is generous. I'd give it a 9. Well, 8.5. I'll give it 8.5.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7.
I understand. I feel when I was watching it again last night, there are bits which I think is that just for shock value? Does it
Well,
necessarily?
that's what I felt with that piece I was telling you about. I think there's no reasoning for that. There's no reason for that. If that was cut out the film, it wouldn't have made any difference. No one would have known any difference. That is, for me, that is for the shock value of it. That is just for like entertainment. Doing something like that for entertainment, I don't think is right.
Well, he's saying he wants to eat something that's alive. He wants life. And I know when he first sees that bloke on the roof and he's all touching him and stuff, you got to imagine he's had zero contact with any other living creature for 15 years. He's had a total mental breakdown in that room, as you would do if you were stuck in any room for 15 years.
Sorry, you just reminded me of saying, who was that bloke with the little dog?
He's got his own issues.
So he was someone else that's been locked up in that thing.
It may have been, or it may have just been like some bloke who's going to kill himself with his dog. Because the guy's about to open up, oh, that's a fascinating story, listen to my story, and Oldboy just walks off. And then you see as he goes downstairs, the guy kills himself.
Good.
Yeah.
And you see the little dog still like there. That was quite good.
See, but again, I was very conscious of that. I was thinking, I know, obviously, we're both animal lovers. I thought, is he going to be like, oh, that poor dog? Was that necessary?
No, see, because well, then again, it might have been a real bloody dog. It might have been a real person. You know, I don't know exactly what
like
they get away with, what they do on these. I don't know what they do on these.
It's not a snuff film.
In these films, I don't know what's acceptable and what's not.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, well, yeah, that was Oldboy.
Yeah, I'm obviously recommend it to anyone, but it is a tough watch, and I did say to this before, it is a tough watch. If you're going to go watch the film after you've listened to this podcast, then yeah, go watch it, but be prepared to don't eat beforehand. Okay, so what is next week?
Right, well, I'm sort of tying with three, completely different to this.
Okay.
I was thinking, right, there's between. I was going to do the same thing with you about the years, but I don't know.
Go on.
One's from one's an old black and white. One's like a rom-com.
Right.
And one is one of a kind type of film.
Well, I think let's save the rom-com for next month, because throughout February,
yes,
I thought it'd be nice to have rom-coms each week.
Yeah.
Because there's loads of fantastic rom-coms, and February's Valentine's Day.
This will be a good one.
So we'll save that for February.
Right, okay,
so
that one.
Rule that out.
Oh, actually, two of them could be really good for it.
Well, remember, you only get to choose two rom-coms throughout February.
But I don't know if I'd choose that for rom-com one.
Right, okay.
It's not very rom-com-ish. It's
just pick a film. Like being married again. What do you want for dinner? I don't mind. Well, just pick something, and then I'll pick, and I don't want that, man. I think do the old one, because it's been a while since we've done an old one.
No, because I think you know what I was going to do for the 90s one. Obviously, you don't want to watch that one.
No, okay, do 90s.
I don't know. I don't want to do the black and white one. We'll do the black and white one.
Right.
We'll do the black and white one, and that one is Brief Encounter.
Brief Encounter.
Have you ever seen it?
Is that the one where they've got to meet at the...
They meet at the station.
No, meet at the...
Train station.
Oh, I'm thinking of the one where he's got to meet her at the top of the building and she runs across the road and gets run over.
That's An Affair to Remember.
Right, okay, yeah. No, I don't think
and
that's
in colour. That's in colour, An Affair to Remember.
Well, I watched it on a black and white telly. Okay, so Brief Encounter.
Yeah, I don't
of the third kind.
No, it's not... Brief Encounters of the Third Kind. Don't watch that one.
Okay.
It's Close Encounters you're thinking of, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's called Brief Encounter. I think it's from the 50s.
And who's in it?
It's Celia Johnson. It's a British film. I think it's Noel Coward.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely haven't seen it then. All right, well, that's it then. So,
next week, Brief Encounter.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for listening. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.